Are you struggling to meet new people, not sure what to talk about, or how to start a conversation? No worries, I've got you. Don't miss the Art of Connection virtual workshop happening on July 30th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I've partnered with the Toronto Dating Hub to create a brand new workshop that will help you navigate social situations with ease. During this workshop, you'll learn how to appear more inviting and use positive body language. You'll learn how to master conversation starters, compliments, and icebreakers. And you'll build confidence with active listening and sharing engaging stories. This interactive workshop includes breakout rooms and group discussions so that you can practice what you learned. Space is limited, so get your tickets now. Go to patternsofpossibility.com/events to learn how you can master the art of networking. Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about how toxic people have lots and lots of friends. What the fuck? What? Why? Why do they have so many? What are they doing all together? I'm over here trying to connect with a couple of people, and everybody who is problematic, who is toxic, seem to have a little tribe, a little following. Let's talk about it. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, I just want you to know at the very top of this, I'm not a hater. I am not a hater. I'm not jealous. I'm making an observation. I'm making an observation here, okay? I'm making an observation that is not coming from a place of vitriol, but I'm looking at this thinking there's so much dysfunction in group dynamics. We know that there's dysfunction and group dynamics when you get people together, especially if we have low emotional intelligence and we have low social skills. If you got high social skills and low emotional intelligence, then you get the toxicity of the toxic tornado. Can we say that? A toxic tornado. People are whirling around one leader who is really good at manipulating their emotions and how they feel about things, promising them things, lying to them, talking about behind their back, shaming them, blaming them, guilt tripping them. They're really good at this. And the people that swarm around them, they have low self-esteem and low appreciation, low boundaries. They don't have that EQ, that emotional intelligence. They're missing that. And so toxic people have lots of friends. They attract these people who will do what they want because they have this real deep fear of being shamed, judged, or dismissed, right? There's these people that just kind of go along to get along. I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so I'm going to reference some 90s TV shows where you had one leader and everybody else followed, especially like if you're watching these special episodes of those 90s sitcoms where there's one bully who's the leader or something like that. That's what I think about in those kind of relationships where they're holding back their real thoughts. They don't want to go against the leader, something like that. But I think that this dynamic exists because we are really not taught how to think for ourselves. It's really doesn't really benefit the larger entity. So I live in the United States. If you're listening to anywhere else, I live in the United States and I'm thinking about society and culture overall. And that there's an overwhelming urge for us to do something according to the will of something bigger than us. What I mean by this, it's like our whole lives are kind of mapped out for us. We're supposed to graduate from high school, go to college, get a career, get a partner, settle down, have some kids, buy a house. Well, not in that order, I guess. Buy a house first and then have kids, and then just continue doing that until you die. You also pay taxes, but you do that and then so you die. That's the thing. That's what society has set out, and we don't get an opportunity to really think about if this is what we want, if it's what we desire. At 18 years old, with very little life experience, with very little ability to self-reflect, even younger than that, they ask us when we're in school, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I don't know. I just, based on my limited experience and what I see on TV, oh, firefighter, oh, police officer, oh, doctor, oh, that's what everybody else is saying. I guess I'll do that too. I'll say that too. There's no real sense of self and no discovery of the self. We're not teaching. We're not being taught. This is how you reflect. This is how you decide. How do you feel about being in spaces like this? What do you like about these things? I don't know. And then we grow up into our adult years and we encounter, go to high school, graduate from high school, go to college, find a partner, pick a career. Like you're doing all this stuff without really spending time with yourself to know whether or not you like it, whether like you want it. You're doing it because somebody else had told you this is a good idea, or it looks like a good idea, without having the experience and the feeling for it, and just being like, oh, I didn't like this. I don't want this. We don't get to experiment. We're not taught to experiment. We're taught to go. And we find ourselves, because of this mentality that's in us, we find ourselves kind of stuck in relationships around people, and we don't even know how we got there. Like, the pandemic has really stopped us from being so chaotic and just go mode. It's sat everybody down for a moment and said, hey, sit down. And you sit down, you look to your left, you look to the right, you're stuck in a house with these crazy ass, annoying people. And you're like, how did this happen? You get on the phone, call your friend that you've known for years. You talk to them and you realize there's nothing in between you two. Nothing. Do you want to talk about sports? They're not happening. You want to talk about your commute to work? You're not going anywhere. You want to talk about your partner? Well, they're right next to you. And you're like, I don't have anything to say to this dude. I don't have anything to say to this girl about anything. How did this happen? Because we didn't do the self-reflection. That's how we get in these groups with toxic relationships or toxic people, toxic friends, because we haven't decided what it is that we want to do. We don't have our own boundaries. We don't have our own needs, wants, and desires enough to stand up to people, enough to be alone, because we're going to go against the grain. We're going to say something that's controversial or that our friend doesn't like, or we know that they don't approve of. We don't want to say that because we're going to be guilt tripped. We're going to be shamed. We're going to be embarrassed by that one friend who is toxic, who has all the power. How did they get there, man? How did they get there? They're just really good at playing the game, I guess. Just really good at that. But I bet they have a lot of shame, guilt, and embarrassment and all that stuff inside of them too. But that's how you get to that place where you got these toxic people who have lots of friends. They don't know how to speak up. They don't know what it is. And if you are trying to build a friend group, communication is everything. Communication is key. Start off with knowing what it is that you want, how you're going to show up, and how other people are going to show up in your space. It's not controlling. It's essentially what you will tolerate and what you will not tolerate. There's no guilting, there's no blaming, there's no shaming or embarrassing them to do something the way you want it to be done, because they choose to be in that space with you and they also like the things that you want to do. You don't have to blame or embarrass them because they don't like the kind of movie you like. So you want to go see Deadpool 4 or Deadpool and Wolverine. You want to go see that movie and your friend is on board with you because they like it. They don't have to be shamed or embarrassed because they rather do something else. They rather watch Inside Out 2. And you got to tell them, look, Inside Out 2 is for babies. You know, that's a stupid movie. You need to watch Wolverine. and Deadpool just messed some stuff up. That's what you need. Yes, that's what we're going to do. Aren't you a grown man? And they'd be like, yes, I am a grown man, but I want to see Inside Out too. That's a good friend. That's a good friend who's going to tell you really how they feel about stuff. Who's not going to bend and fold to your desires. They're going to do things on their own accord because they really care about you. Toxic people don't have those kind of relationships. They're all shallow. They're all fickle. They're held on by shame, guilt, embarrassment. They're all stuck together like that. But the moment somebody decides they're not going to feel that way, or they're going to do something against the grain, the thing falls apart. It'll fall apart. The moment you tell the truth. Like I think Kendrick said, don't tell no lies about me, and I won't tell no truths about you. The whole thing will fall apart. So if you're out there trying to create those relationships, the meaningful ones that I continue to talk about over and over again, and you see others, groups of 5, parties of 5 and all that together, and they're hanging out, and you're like, how come I can't? It's probably because you're willing to be your authentic self. It's probably because of that. Those relationships that you want will come in time. As long as you continue to show up and be authentic, say what's real, true, and important to you, you can avoid this whole toxic tornado of friendships where people really don't know or like each other. Hey, Patterns of Possibility fam. If you'd like a little more guidance and hands-on support, then I've got great news. You can hire me as your own personal coach. Go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to apply for individual or group coaching. In this 12-week program, I'm going to help you make the meaningful connections that you deserve. After this coaching program, I promise you'll be able to do 3 things. 1, you'll be able to clearly identify who belongs in your tribe and who doesn't. Say goodbye to those people who are wishy-washy, you're unsure of. No, you will know for certain whether or not they deserve to be in the same space with you. And second, you are going to know that your thoughts and feelings are valid and worth expressing. So if you do have feelings about your friends not holding up boundaries or not holding up space for you or not meeting your needs, then you are not going to shy away from telling them. You will be able to communicate your boundaries in a clear, concise manner and advocate for yourself in your relationships. And finally, you are going to learn how to start and stop conversations with strangers and steer them towards topics that are interesting and important to you. I don't know about you, but I don't have weeks, months, years to discover whether or not me and my new friend have compatible values. If you know what you're looking for, you can discover if you're compatible in just a few conversations. If all this sounds good to you and you're ready to make those meaningful connections, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. Again, go to patternsofpossibility.com/coaching to find out more information. I look forward to working with you. Now it's time for your listener letters. If you have burning questions about your friendships and your platonic relationships with your coworkers and so forth, let me know. Write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com, and I might just read your letter out loud. I'm being asked to chip in to get my friend an expensive birthday gift when my friend didn't even acknowledge my birthday. I'm a 23-year-old female and have been friends with my 25-year-old friend for 4 years. One thing to note is that my friend makes a big deal about her birthdays, which her other friends also noted. Every year, I've given my friend a birthday gift. My friend never gave me a birthday gift or acknowledged my birthday when she knew it was my birthday, but I tried not to feel too hurt by it because there could be lots of reasons. But I do feel hurt by it. For example, last year, I told her it was my birthday and she ignored the message to talk about something else. This year, I decided not to give my friend a present and to just wish her a happy birthday to avoid disappointment on my end. However, her close friend reached out to me to ask me to chip in to get her an expensive gift. She didn't ask for a specific amount and didn't say how much it would cost in the end, but this gift typically ranges from $1,000 to $3,000. Wow. I was thinking or telling her that it's not in my budget. But then again, she never said how much it was or say that I could contribute even a little bit and it would help. Is there a way to decline without seeming rude or lying? Okay, this is a question. To answer your question flat out, yeah. Is there a way to decline without seeming rude or lying? Yes, of course. There's a way to do that. And before we go figuring out what the answer is, just thinking about, this kind of relationship that you have with her. Is this what you want? That's how I'm thinking. Okay, I laughed, but of course we always want to reflect on that. When we're in it, it's kind of hard to reflect. That's why you wrote this out. That's why you're asking for some input, for some advice, for some support. Like, what would you do on this end? It seems like you still want to keep this kind of relationship. And I think a really great question is to figure out why. What is the benefit of having this relationship when they're demanding so much of your time and your energy in the form of attention and money? There's this longing, it seems, and desire for them to reciprocate, to show you that they care about you just as much as you care about them. At the very least, they could say happy birthday to you, give you something, acknowledge you, and you're probably working really hard to stay in their good graces or to stay connected with them or reaching out to them, letting them know that you're there for them and you want to support them, you care about them and things like that. And they're not doing the same for you. They're just not being the kind of friend that it seems like you want, because you are hurt by their actions and they get the benefit of the doubt. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They don't really know really how badly you're hurt by what they're doing, by their ignorance and by their, as I would like to say, willful ignorance or disregard of your birthday altogether. Because how you know each other for 4 years and just point blank say to somebody, look, it's my birthday, and hope for some kind of response. Like, people who care about you know that your birthday is important to you and will at least utter the words to say happy birthday, acknowledge you. Acknowledgement is what we're looking for on your special day. Quick sidebar, I had this happen to me a few years ago. A couple of people had reached out to me on my birthday, and I was feeling kind of salty about it because they didn't say anything about my birthday. They were just like, hello, what's up, how you doing? Just a random day to say hello. And I'm like, y'all ain't gonna say nothing? What? Y'all know it's my birthday, don't you? Don't you know it's my birthday? And in fairness, I haven't talked to these two people in quite some time, and they just happened to reach out to me on this random day, not even really thinking about it being my birthday or anything special to me. And so what I did was I asked them point blank, and I even made a Reddit post about this. I asked them point blank, hey, can you say happy birthday to me? It's my birthday. Can you acknowledge me? Please acknowledge me. I didn't ask questions. I make statements about the things that I'm looking for. And so they did. They said, oops, my bad, happy birthday. And I was very happy about that. It's not that, for many people, I guess, you want to be thought of constantly and delighted by the fact that they're thinking about you and they surprise you with this gift that you didn't even know that you needed, but they know you so well that they show up with the thing that you didn't know that you needed. And we're looking for that in our friendships. We're looking for that from people around us to be delighted at us, be thinking about us, knowing us, and delivering the gift of them knowing us in the form that they demonstrate that they understand how we feel about our experiences. They demonstrate that we understand how we feel about our birthdays, and we want this nice gift. We want to say hello or happy birthday or send a picture or do something, celebrate on Facebook or Instagram, however you celebrate. We want our friends, we want those people around us to be able to do that instantly, easily. And in this case, the case of the two people that contacted me, they weren't thinking about me that way, and I wasn't upset. What I did instead was say, here's what I want. Can you meet that need for me? And they were like, yeah, no problem. I thought that I was just as special and just as important as being surprised. Although I would absolutely love a surprise birthday party. I'm looking for one of those to happen sometime. Somebody's going to surprise me, and all March 31st, that's my birthday, all March 31st, I'm going to be looking around like, what's happening? You trying to get me out of the house? It must be a surprise. I'll probably ruin it because I anticipate it. I want to anticipate it so much. But the point I'm trying to make here is, do you want to be with someone that you can't tell these things like directly? Say, hey, like I said to my friends or said to my people in my life, like, hey, I'm missing this thing. I need you to fill it. And this is how you can do it. And they were willing to do it. It seems like that component is missing in this relationship that you have with this person. They're not even acknowledging it. And if you brought it to their attention, they didn't even acknowledge it then. And if you bring it to their attention, and then you ask for some support in some way about the thing you brought to their attention, I think it would be really icky. Look at me and my emotional vocabulary. Icky. It'd be just kind of gross. It'd be a little bit of them saying, look, you're not that important, or I forgot about it, it's not a big deal. A lot of dismissing of your feelings. I'll bet that's what would happen. And we're trying to really avoid that, because you're asking, can I decline without being rude or lying? The reason why you want to decline, the reason why you don't want to give any time or energy into this, is because you don't feel like you're getting any back. And if you aren't very clear about the fact that you aren't getting the reciprocation that you want from this relationship, if you pretend that it's not happening, or you try really hard to dismiss it by declining this expensive gift, declining to bring anything to the table for it, it's going to show. It's going to show. You're going to have to face that anyway. You're going to have to face that fact that you don't feel like you're getting the reciprocation that you want, because you're getting ready to demonstrate it here, right now, in real life, when you don't contribute to the gift. You are demonstrating that you're not getting what you want, so why give them what they want? And there's this resentment and animosity that starts to build in the relationship. There it goes. It's going to start right now. You're already on it. You're already believing it. You're already feeling it. Now the action is going to come about, and it's going to be manifested. And you're going to have some kind of conversation sometime soon. So is there a way to do this without being rude or lying? No. I mean, what did I say? I said yes before. Yes. Yes. And you're going to have to face all of that lack of reciprocity, all the feelings that you have about the lack of reciprocity, because your friend is going to notice. Your friend is going to notice. And a conversation, a different kind of conversation, will probably be had. And I think that the idea of not giving a gift or backing out without being rude, without lying, is a way to try to avoid that conversation that you need to have with her. You need to have that conversation about how you feel, how you're being treated, how you have a desire to be treated differently, what you want, what you expect from your friendship. And it's not a bad thing to have that conversation. It's just a very scary one, because perhaps, as they've been demonstrating many times before for the last 4 years, they are not capable, or they do not care about how you feel. They don't. And once we start talking about that kind of stuff, we can't hide it anymore. We won't be able to hide it anymore. We won't be able to pretend. And you might lose your friend, and that's terrifying for a lot of us. That's scary. I know. I've been there. I don't want to talk about the thing that's going to upset them, because I still want to be friends with them. Maybe there's just this one little issue about the birthday and everything else is fantastic. I'll bet everything else isn't fantastic. Because if they don't care about something as important as this to you, there's a lot of other little things that are just piling up that you swept under the rug. And boom, here it is. We get ready to trip over it and have this conversation about why this shit is underneath the rug. Why is there so much of it? I'm so mad that I put it down here. I'm frustrated about this relationship. I can't get what I want from you. And then the fear of being alone afterward because your relationship isn't what you want. And you get to choose. You're going to feel like it's a forced thing. But you get to choose whether or not you want to be with this person. And if you choose to be with this person who makes no changes, who decides that they're not going to celebrate your birthday and dismiss you for another 4 to 5 years, then you have swept a lot more stuff under that rug. And you'll trip over it again. And you'll have this conversation that you're trying to avoid having. All right, let me wrap this up by saying the way to decline without seeming rude or lying, I want you to consider that you're not responsible for her feelings. And as long as you say whatever you need to say in a tone that's clear, concise, and kind, without blaming anyone, like you didn't do this for me, so I'm not going to do that for you. And simply, I've decided not to spend any money on your birthday. I decided not to spend any money. And you don't have to justify it. Just say I've decided not to, because my goodness, $1,000 to $3,000, who does that? Girl, who does that? I don't know what this gift is. Who? You're 23 and 25 years old. What are you doing? What are you doing? Where is this? Anyway, the point is you don't have to justify. And don't worry about them feeling like it's rude. That'll pull you into an obligation to do the thing that you don't want to do. When you really want to just be like, look, I don't want to do this. And that's the truth. So it's not being rude. It's not lying. But it will make them uncomfortable. It will make them uncomfortable. Be prepared. You got this. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, share with someone who you think could benefit from this information, and follow me on social media. You can find me at Patterns of Possibility on all social media, and I go live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can catch me and learn more about these social connections and interact with other people who are looking for the meaningful connections, who share the same kind of stories, and be in community. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at patternsofpossibility.com, where you will get actionable steps delivered to your mailbox every week. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, take care.